Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Yo, the Toronto Raptors are back. And I know it's a little bit early to call it, but damn it, it's been everything that I've been saying that they needed, and they got exactly who I thought they needed to get. Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett are the energetic shot in the arm that this offense has been needing for the longest. But that's not necessarily what I want to talk about in this video. What I actually want to talk about is, can Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett become the next DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry for the Toronto Raptors? I want to dive into that in this video. If you enjoy the video, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Yo, let me just start off by saying DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, that combo for the Toronto Raptors has been nothing short of special. That combination ushered in an era of winning that this franchise has never known. Both will have their jerseys retired. They will have a huge standing ovation. Everyone will come out to be a part of it. They'll have a movie. They'll have bobbleheads. They will go down in Toronto Raptors lore like the Magic Johnsons and the Kobes. That's who they are for this organization. They were organizational changing players. They were outlook and potential. They were basically the future of this organization when they came to the Toronto Raptors. We know DeMar was drafted. Kyle Lowry came in after bouncing around the league. And when they came together, they were something special. And this is actually what I'm kind of questioning. Can Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett become this? Not necessarily having the same offensive output that, let's say, DeMar DeRozan had. I don't know if RJ Barrett will ever get there. I think he can. I think it's plausible. I think it's possible or plausible, getting it mixed up. But I don't think that that's necessarily what I mean by can he become the next DeMar DeRozan or even Immanuel Quickley becoming the next Kyle Lowry. It was what their relationship meant to this organization that I'm more focused on. Not just their relationship in terms of their friendship. And I want to really dissect this a little bit. It was that the two leaders on this team brought the level of competitiveness, commitment to winning, hard work, essentially the intangibles, right? They were game in, game out. They knew that when they looked across at one another, that they were in it together. They could hold each other accountable. They would set each other up. They not only built the chemistry with one another, but they built the chemistry in terms of the team and organization as a whole. Their laughter, their jokes, their playfulness, their competitiveness, their willingness to dive on the floor, their willingness to give everything they have for one another became a culture setter for the Toronto Raptors. And as a result, the organization followed suit. Now, despite having to trade away DeMar DeRozan in order to bring in Kawhi Leonard to have a shot at getting a championship, which they did, it doesn't discount the contribution that DeMar DeRozan brought to the organization. Now, here's some reasons why I think that they definitely can get there as a duo. One, they're about the same age. It's crazy to say that RJ Barrett is still only 23 years old. I mean, he's already into his second contract, out of his rookie deal, and he's still just 23. That's just incredible. And then you have Immanuel Quickley at 24 years old, playing at the University of Kentucky, and biding his time with the New York Knicks behind Jalen Brunson. You see, there's something that is life-changing. It's focus shifting. It is outlook transforming when you have to wait your turn, when you have to bide your time, when you have to sit behind somebody you believe that you can be just as good as, if not better, in your own way. And Kyle Lowry had to do that, whether it was in Memphis, starting off his career, going to the Houston Rockets, later on, playing with Goran Dragic and other point guards. He was trying to figure himself out, buying his time. And even though he was getting opportunities, those organizations didn't choose him. They chose somebody else. Similarly, the New York Knicks did not choose Immanuel Quickley over Jalen Brunson. And I'm not even here to say that that was the wrong choice. What I'm saying is, internally, what happens to you when you have to bide your time, when you have to wait behind somebody and you don't get chosen and you get traded, there becomes what we call the proverbial chip on your shoulder. And this is where I feel like Immanuel Quickley falls into the line of recently great point guards for the Toronto Raptors. And I want to say great. Like we can go back as far as Damon Stoudemire. I get it, but then there's a time, where we didn't really have great point guards. We had, at best, point guards. Jose Calderon comes to mind, right? But then Kyle Lowry arrives. And the chip on his shoulder made him 7 feet tall. The chip on his shoulder caused him to compete in a way that almost immediately transformed the outlook of this team and this organization. They became a defensive team. They became a selfless team. They became a determined, competitive team. He's almost one of those guys. I mean, there's a reason why the Miami Heat picked him up, because he naturally falls in line with what they refer to as Heat culture. But it's winning culture. It's a level of competitiveness that is on the edge each and every play. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to pander to them. You don't have to set all these incentives or even threaten them to play with a level of requisite competitiveness that allows them to maximize every ounce of their potential. And this is what I see in Immanuel Quickley. Now, can anybody be Kyle Lowry? No, he's going to be his own guy, right? And I don't even think he needs to be there. But the chemistry, it's the chemistry piece for me. That between Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, you can see they already have that synced type of chemistry where they know where each other is instinctively on the court. They know how to play off of one another. There's a trust with one another. And I want to see if this relationship can continue to evolve. You got Scotty Barnes, who I believe is only, 22 years old, something like that. Right? He's 22. RJ's 23. Quickley is 24. And here's the thing. When I think about Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, they never really had that third guy. And when I say that third guy, I mean, Jonas Valanciunas was probably the closest thing, but he still wasn't in his prime yet. He was still kind of young, figuring himself out in the league, young big man, trying to get his body right, figuring out how to be in shape. What is his game going to be? And he wasn't necessarily somebody you could look to say, deep in a playoff run, you can carry us for a stretch. Well, these two are coming onto the Toronto Raptors with a Scotty Barnes, with a Pascal Siakam, and even a Jakob Poeltl. They have a front court. They have guys around them that are going to be able to come around them and make the game easy. And this is what I really want to see from Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, is that they don't have to press. They don't have to press. In New York, they had to press, right? You had Jalen Brunson, who's going to get buckets. Julius Randle, who could get buckets. And then that was about it. And then it was RJ Barrett and Quickley. The rest were just kind of role guys who played really hard and were going to play great defense and get out in transition and get back on D and take charges and dive for loose balls and rebound, maybe block a shot or two, Mitchell Robinson. They had a bunch of role guys, but it was really the four of them who were the bucket getters. And and when I say they, I mean if all four were not clicking, especially against better teams, they weren't going to win. And so they had to press. They had to push the envelope. And I think to their betterment, they have responded extremely well by continuing to improve their games every single season. But in Toronto, you're already going to have a bunch of guys who can get buckets, even to the bench. You got guys like Gary Trent Jr., Dennis Schroeder. These guys can get buckets. Grady Dick, when he gets reintegrated, can get buckets. You don't need to press. What you need to do is fall in line and fall into what can your role be like for the Toronto Raptors to optimize this roster and their potential, because this roster has been having potential. And I think all of us know that and have been frustrated because of that, because we look at the talent and we said, damn, we got an all-NBA forward in Pascal Siakam. We got Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. We've got all this talent. Why are we not doing better? But as I shared in my previous video, you have to understand that the NBA has layers to it. And yes, we all want to win, but in order to do that, you must be crafty. You must be deliberate. You must be intentional. And you cannot give up talent for pennies on the dollar. And so Masai Ujiri had to wait. He had to wait for the right moment to make sure that he got back what he was due for the talent he was going to be willing to give out. And when we look at this trade, he got exactly that. He got a second-round pick from the Detroit Pistons. That's practically a first-round pick. But it's a guy that you don't actually have to invest as much financially because it's a non-guaranteed contract. It's going to be a contract that you're going to get to negotiate that doesn't come in saying this is the baseline of how much you're going to have to pay him outside of the NBA minimum. Right? And so you're going to be able to draft somebody who could potentially be a future starter, who could potentially be a high-end contributor. Right? And you're going to have them on your books. You're going to have them locked in. Right? But then at the same time, they also got Immanuel Quickley, a point guard for the future. At 24 years old, has shown all the flashes and signs that you want to see. You see, you have to understand draft picks are having less and less value today in the NBA because there's so much talent. And they realize because of the talent, not everybody is going to work out. Not everybody is going to reach their peak. Not everybody has the confidence, the work ethic, and everything that has to fall in line with allowing an NBA player to maximize their potential and become a bona fide starting level player. Most guys are just either going to flame out, end up playing overseas, or they're going to end up as role players, probably coming off the bench. Very few are going to become starters. So when you have an opportunity to trade out one bona fide all-NBA defensive team level player who's a bona fide starting small forward in the NBA, there's no questions about that when it comes to OG Anunoby. And when you have an opportunity to flip him and turn him into two, to turn him into a starting level shooting guard in RJ Barrett, a starting level point guard in Immanuel Quickley, who both fill positions of high need for your roster, that is a win. That is a win, a win, a win, and a win, and a win. But the question becomes, can they fall in line? And this is where head coach Darko Rajakovic is going to have to do his work. Can he put the pieces together? Because I think early in the season, we all said, hey, it's his first year as a head coach. You know, kind of got this weird roster construction, not that much depth. He's going to be treading water. But now you're no longer treading water. Now you have the pieces. You have the talent, you have the depth, and you've got to respond. You've got to put it together because Immanuel Quickley and Pascal Siakam are going to be free agents and they're going to get re-signed, which means that they're going to be financially locked in. They're going to be committed to this roster for another stretch, which is what they've signed you up for this stretch. Can you come in, bring this team together and get everyone to sacrifice for the betterment of the team? Can you allow them to play to their strengths for the betterment of the team? Can you ensure that the chemistry grows so you have a backcourt of the future that could potentially set up another run for a championship? Can you help Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett become the next Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan? But as always, I want to know what you all think. Do you think that they grow to that level of competitors, leaders, culture setters for this organization? Holler at me in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me and subscribe and the bell for notifications. And I'm out. Peace.